Here's my audience. Driving. Such a mundane task. I'm sure most of us take it for granted. We, I know, I'm sure most of us also just drive down the road and maybe black out for a second or two, or check their cell phone, or do some, maybe eat while they're driving, and you're taking your eyes off the road. This is especially scary because you're in control of a 2-ton vehicle going 70 miles down the road. And my point is, humans aren't perfect, okay? We make mistakes. We happen to forget things, or we don't pay attention, or we're tired. All these factors could impair our driving. And I think the subject today maybe could shed some light on this or help out this. And the subject is driverless cars. Now, there's 4 points that I want to point out to you today. I got history of driverless cars, the safety about them, the quality of life that they can help, and also a cautionary tale. In 2004, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, held a contest where self-driving cars would go down a 142-mile course in the desert, and no one completed this course. In fact, the furthest they got was 7.5 miles down the road. The next year, in 2005, 195 teams competed, and 5 were able to complete the course. Spurred by this success, in 2007, DARPA hosted the Urban Challenge, where 11 vehicles were driving down city streets, and out of those 11, 6 of them were able to complete the course. I think without this competition, we may not have progressed as far with self-driving cars as we could have. In fact, the U.S. Department of Transportation wants to assist us even further by allocating $4 billion over the next 10 years to self-automated vehicles. Right now, Google is currently the leader in self-driving cars, and they have logged 1.5 million miles on the road without a driver. They also have about 80 vehicles. Some of them are retrofitted, and some of them are brand new ones. They don't even include a steering wheel or pedals. Ford, Nissan, and Audi are also in the race with their own projects going on. And while technically not a self-driving car, according to Tesla, their vehicles can do some automated features such as lane changing, staying within the lines on a highway, and dynamic cruise control, where they would sense the car in front of them and match the speed. I think the biggest reason for self-driving cars is safety. According to the National Center for Statistics and Analysis, 2.3 million people were injured last year, or 2.3 million people were injured in 2014, and 32,000 of those people died from motor vehicle accidents. 31%, or just under 10,000 of these people, died due to alcoholic influences. Now, with a self-driving car, that would be completely negated. There would be no alcoholic presence behind the wheel to affect your driving. Also, with a self-driving car, they would always go the speed limit. They would obey every traffic regulation, and they can react to a situation faster than a human can. And that's not to say that it's all of the driver's fault. I mean, there's plenty of safe drivers out there, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't be hit by unsafe drivers or inexperienced drivers. And at the end of the day, you got to know that the most important thing is human life. So if that means that we got to take control away from the humans and give it to the machines, maybe that's what we should do. My third point is quality of life. When Google first started testing their self-driving cars, they selected Steve Mahan, a California resident, who happens to be blind. He loves the program. He could be completely independent if this technology were widespread and other people with disabilities, whether they're mental disabilities or physical disabilities, could be helped out. Even mundane tasks such as parking your car or a long commute could be alleviated or at least lessened. And now a word of caution. Charlie Miller and Chris Valasek were able to hack into a Jeep Cherokee in 2015. They got through the entertainment console wirelessly, and through there they could affect the windshield wipers. They could cut the acceleration. They could disable the brakes. This is a real threat. And while that case was not a self-driving car, they were able to do so from their laptop through a cell phone, and that technology may be employed in cars in the future. And if we're not behind the wheel to at least notice it, there could be some serious repercussions. A more recent issue happened in February of this year where Google's car sideswiped a city bus. Now, no one was hurt, and Google themselves said, "We clearly bear some responsibility because if our car hadn't moved, there wouldn't have been a collision." So I think we should be mindful of these things as well. Just the cars can make mistakes. Now, Tesla estimates that their cars will be ready by 2018 and Google's by 2020. Are we ready for this? Is our country ready for this? Can we allow machine drivers behind the wheel? The future is here, whether we want it to be or not. And I think that's what we should all be aware of.